Good morning. Hi, I'm Raleigh Brown. This is Curve Flattening Concert number 465. Steve DeHaas on YouTube is the first man in out there on the West Coast. Rhonda Scott Merrick from the Chicago area. Steve Edelman in Tucson, Arizona. And Michael Tierson in his living room in Ardmore. At the living room in Ardmore. Michael Tierson is at his home in like Collingswood, somewhere down there in South Jersey. And Charlie Bryant is here, one of the namesakes of Charlie the dog. And Helene Tober Fowler and Susan Douglas and Warren and Janelle and Jim Greco on time. What's going on with you, buddy, that you made it here so early? And Donna Greenberg is here. And Kathy Marzik and Mike Verbic and Pam Zappardino, all you guys, it's good to see you. Folks are kind of streaming in. I guess we could do a little bit of clonkifying here. I already had all my coffee this morning, so true confessions, this is just straight vodka. No, it's not, it's water. It looks like vodka. And Debbie Moore and Jeanette Pasqua and Tom Dietz and Deb Leiby Clark and my old friend Peter Lips and Rich Fowler and Ken Delancey, who I saw last night. We did a gig. I'll tell you about that. John Hubner is here from Lima, Ohio, my old friend, and Andreas Postler from Germany. So good to see you all. And I think there's probably enough people for me to do a song. So I'll play a song and then we'll talk some more. This one was a request. Actually, Warren, either, you never know who, but either Warren or Janelle requested this. I think it's probably Warren. When he heard me do it last week, I forget where he heard me do it too. I did it somewhere online. So this is a song written, performed by a Canadian group called Steel Rail. The guitarist for that group is a guy named Dave Clark, who's a great guitar player. And they used to be, I think they used to be somewhere in the East, maybe in Montreal even. And now I know Dave moved out to Vancouver. That was like 10 or 12 years ago, so I don't know where these guys are now. But they were a great band. I'm not sure if they're still together. Steelrail.ca, look them up. And this song is called 1,000 Miles of Snow. And I have to remember the first line. Snow needles in the headlight. Cold moon knows the way I feel. It was snowing in Toronto when I got behind the wheel. 12 hours on the road. Now the flakes still coming down. I got 3 more days of blacktop till I'm back in my hometown. I'm driving home. Driving home across 1,000 miles of snow. Drifts dancing across the highway, static on the radio. I'm humming Walk That Lonesome Valley, so I don't feel so alone. I left my life behind when I moved east so many years ago. Now these old slants now these empty roads will take me back to faces I won't know. I'm driving home. driving home across 1,000 miles of snow. I left the concrete and the neon for these empty fields of grain. I wish each time these wipers arced, they'd wash a week away. And in the center of the city, I still heard that west wind blow. Now this old slant six and my regrets will carry my heart home. I'm driving home, driving home across 1,000 miles of snow. Lord, I'm driving home, driving home across 1,000 miles of snow. A 1,000 Miles of Snow by Steel Rail. Let me back up here and say some more hellos. I got all those guys, and then we're up to here. Karma Jimpa Tomo, thank you, hello. And Bob McKenna and Carol Pred, lost track of time. It happens. And Kathy Marzik, and Donna Bergman, and Ken Nashif up there in the Northwest, and Jim Moore, my old buddy with Nelson the dog, and just back from a chilly morning walk. Believe me, I feel your pain, Jim. We were out there at 7 this morning, and it's not warm here. It's in the 20s. And Kate Petrella's here. Hi, Kate. And she's still recovering her internet after the storms down in Florida. And Charlie Ortolani, yet another of the Charlie namesakes, and Debbie Moore, and Peggy Burnett Roberts. Good to see you, Peggy. I hope you're hanging in there. And Rich Laughlin and David Arthur Ratcliffe, my buddy over in the UK. And Jeanette Pasqua, did I say hi to you? Ellen O'Brien, who I saw last night live and in person for the first time ever. Ellen is a guitar student of mine, but only on Zoom lessons, so she came out to the concert. I'll tell you a little more about that when we do the announcements, maybe. And it was really great to see her and Aretta and Ron, I assume. And not a new song, Aretta, but so it goes. And Rhonda Scott Merrick says 13 last night in Chicago. So it's getting cold. We may have a Charlie explosion. Yeah, there he goes. Another leaf has fallen. I was just about to put the camera on him, but I wonder if we could. Here he comes. Maybe we can catch him as he comes back in. There he is. So there, I think we're okay like that. I think we're lined up pretty good here. Okay, so Charlie, nothing's going to happen for a while. I'm sorry, buddy. So that's everybody I've said hi to so far. I'm going to put on my finger picks. Another request today was for Bye Bye Blackbird, and I think Carol Pred requested that. And she said, I don't know if you play that, and that was fair for her to ask that. But Bye Bye Blackbird was one of the tunes I played when I won the National Fingerpicking Championships. And that was many years ago, and my skills have degraded a little bit since then. What do I need to do? I need to move this. I don't want to go that way, so I want to go this way. So we're just going to move this just a smidge because I'm obsessive compulsive. Nope, that was the wrong way. So we'll go a little smidge this way. That's better. Okay. Everything's got to be just right. My boundaries here, I have to reach just to there on this side and just to there on that side. We're good. So this is kind of I'm almost embarrassed when I say this that this was a contest tune for me, because when I think of how over the years the quality and the development of fingerstyle guitar, like fingerstyle guitar, when I won that contest, there was ragtime blues and there was Chet Atkins style, and there was a certain amount of original fingerstyle guitar. But really, the art has grown over the years by so much, and there's so many amazing players out there. And so I feel like I feel like this is a historical artifact when I play something like this. And it isn't what it was when I was young and had good hands. So all those disclaimers notwithstanding, Bye Bye Blackbird. There it is, for what it's worth. A highly degraded version of my old fancy version of Bye Bye Blackbird. So some more people have checked in here, and I will say a couple more hellos. I don't want to miss anybody, but I probably will, so I apologize in advance here. And I see Lauren Payne and Mark Steele and Big Dan. Hi, Dan. Biggie. Ann Caston out there in Ohio. Ann is in addition to having been my first guitar student ever when we were both much younger, and she was probably less than half my age at that point. Ann is a rescuer of dogs who fosters, from what I gather, mostly fosters pregnant or just delivered litters of puppies. So she's a saint. She should have a little halo over her head. And she's also just a wonderful person. She's a massage therapist and a bunch of other great stuff. Susie Burke is here. Hi, Susie. and her mom always sang "Bye Bye Blackbird." And Frank Mato is here from Ohio. Lake effect snow warning in Euclid. 22 degrees and snow squalls. How much snow do you have out there now, Frank? It looked like Alex posted a picture with a lot of snow. I didn't know where it was from. Um, and Beth Brown Rosenblum, and it says, "Hi, Dolly. This is Jack." So it's Jack Rosenblum, my old Tai Chi student, and he's a guitar picker too. He took a couple guitar lessons with me, and that's everybody so far. So this next one was a request. I'm going to move the capo up a little bit from my friend out in. I met her in Colorado. I think she lives in Arizona or New Mexico, and her name is Jen. I'm going to blow off her last name right now, but her first name is Jen. And she requested this song. Now, I first heard this song. It was, to me, it was called Dink's Song, and I first heard it probably in Farragher's back room in South Euclid, Ohio, in like 1966 or something like that. And I might have heard it sung by Gusty, the one-named singer Gusty, who was actually Gusty Kraus in later years, who passed away last year, was a wonderful singer and a real piece of work as a human being as well. And I always loved the song, but I never could really sing it until I started studying voice with Charles Williams, who's another one of Charlie's namesakes. And now I can sing it. There's Alex Bevan. Alex, do you remember who used to do this song, Dink's Song, back in the day in Farragher's days? I thought it was Gusty, but it might have been somebody else. But that's where I first heard it, and then Dave Van Ronk recorded it, and I heard other versions. There's a lot of versions. I think it was repopularized in the movie Inside Llewyn Davis, the Coen Brothers movie. But here's the way I do it. If I had wings like Noah's dove, well, I'd fly the river to the one I love. Fare thee well, my honey. Fare thee well. Now the woman I love, she's long and tall. She can move her body like a cannonball. Fare thee well, my honey. Fare thee well. And one of these mornings, and it won't be long, you're gonna call my name, and I'll be gone. Fare thee well, my honey. Fare thee well. one evening in the drizzling rain all around my heart, there was an ache and pain. Fare thee well, my honey, fare thee well. If I had wings like Noah's dove, well, I'd fly the river to the one I love. Fare thee well, my honey, fare thee well, fare thee well, my honey, fare thee well. Dink's Song. That's a folk song that was collected by Alan Lomax. One of the great collectors of folk music in the United States. Let me see if I'm missing anybody here. There's a lot of conversations going on, but I will only see them later. Keith Shaw showed up. Hi, Keith. And Alex says, I can loan you some of my snow if you like. And you say, does anyone play Dylan's fairly well? It's the same song. He just has slightly different lyrics, and he kind of chunks it along pretty quickly. Some people play it. Bob Gibson did a version which was in typical Bob Gibson stuff. Alex says Gusty did sing it, and Bob Gibson also sang it. Bob Gibson just played some great stuff on the 12 strings. So it had a big fat sound, and he always had the rhythm going, you know. So it's been done a bunch of different ways. Beautiful song, I do believe. And Susan Douglas is here. Hey, Susan. So, and Deb Huxtable of Deb and Chris Reitz, my good buddy Chris. So, time for a guitar change. You may note while I'm changing guitars that Charlie the dog has shifted quarters. And he is now in his customary love seat position, pretending to be a nice, relaxed, serene dog. And Charlie is really improving. He couldn't get much worse after the chocolate incident, but he is getting better. And I think he may have. It's a little early to say, but I think he may have turned some kind of corner here. So we will find out. And it's interesting, you know, due to my studies with Ed Grisha Stewart's online academy, I got him a really long leash, a 15-foot leash, and her rationale in terms of having that is that dogs usually are really, we're making them move at our speed, and it's like snail pace for them. You know, just think about what your dog does when you just wanders around your fenced-in yard, or if you can get him off lead and watch him run a little bit. You know, he could chase a ball, or even if he's just trotting along looking at stuff, he's going at, you know, 2 or 2.5 times the speed we go at. So by having a really long lead, at least part of the time, if you have some control over your dog's distance from you, he can trot around like a regular dog instead of being constantly dragging you along. And it makes a dog who is leash reactive, like Charlie is, there he is, there's a little head, it makes them a little less reactive, because being leash reactive comes from the dog feeling trapped, like he can't get away of whatever another dog or people or a truck coming up or whatever. So getting him on a long lead like that, if you learn how to control it, which is a skill, is really useful. And he's now, like, he's more mellow on his walks because he knows he can move around a little, and he looks like he has more fun. Do you have more fun on your walks? Blink your eyes if you have more fun on your walks. Make your ears, I know you can't make them stand up, but maybe you could just shake them a little bit. There's the eyes. Thank you. Okay. I'll take that as a yes. So, some comments this morning. I want to mention, I see John Rossi is here and Diane Cloud. Hello, you guys. And people from all parts of my life show up here. So those of you who play guitar, if you are in a place that has winter, you should be humidifying your guitars right now. You should use a humidifier in the guitar. I use the thing that you can see right over there is a full room humidifier. And I woke up this morning and I looked at I have like 3 hygrometers around the house, humidifier gauges. And they were all at like 30, which is not good. It shouldn't be below 40. And I realized that this was empty and I needed to put more water in. So I got more water in, I cranked it up. I turned it off during the concerts because it makes a lot of noise. But I cranked it up and it was back up to about 37 before the concert. And it'll get back up there now. But guitars can crack. I've actually had a guitar crack sitting on a stand next to me one time when I lived in another part of Bucks County. I had a guitar actually crack and I heard it go spring. I looked down and there was a big crack right down here in the face of the guitar. It was a sad tale. So anyhow, humidify your guitars. And what I use, I don't have any handy, is just a regular kitchen sponge, an Ocello sponge, and you take a sandwich bag and plug a couple holes in it. You wet the sponge and shake it out so it's not drippy and put it in there. You can put it inside your guitar, like I put it in, and then wrap the bag around the strings. And every couple days when you play your guitar, check it. And it's so easy to keep track of because if the sponge is still spongy, then you're good. If it's dry and hard, then you have to refill it. And it costs 30 cents instead of some $20 gizmo that you buy from Diodario or somebody. Okay, enough about that. Heidi McClure and Jerry, hi you guys, and Dave Axler, and like that. Good. Other announcements. So as usual, there's the PayPal link right there. Always appreciated, never expected. And Venmo too. We love Venmo because there's no fee. And the Invisibles are Invisible Rubenstein and Mike Stillman and Joel Biget and Mario Prue and Judith Fox and Kit Sarikaku and Kate Mack and Linda Worster. And there may be others, and I'm sorry if I miss anybody. I'm sorry if I miss anybody, especially the Invisibles. It's not in my power. What little power I have, which isn't much. And somebody, I forget who requested this, I've been too kind of busy to keep track of it. And I'm not done doing, I'm still doing announcements. Let's get with it, Raleigh. So I did that. Charlie, I told you about Charlie doing well. This concert I did last night was a benefit concert for the Abington Friends meeting. They're trying to put in an accessible, handicap accessible bathroom because they're in a beautiful big old building, but it's an old building and it's probably from the 19th century and or early 20th, and it needs stuff done. And it was a concert with me, a guy who calls himself Smiling Ed, who's a banjo player, a violinist named Joseph Arnold, and my good buddy Ken Ulansey. And I got to tell you, the quality of the music was astounding. I rarely get to hear Kenny play solo, but when he does, and I played a couple tunes with him, but his solo stuff, he has, as a saxophone player and a clarinet player, he has such amazingly rich, fat tone. It's just beautiful. And he plays great stuff, of course. And I've played with him for 40 years. we're really good old friends. And Joseph Arnold was wonderful. He's obviously a very skilled violinist. I meant to ask him, he's also an Alexander technique teacher, and I meant to ask him if he knew Freda Epstein, who was my dear friend and was also probably senior to him, an Alexander teacher and a wonderful violinist. But I didn't get to talk to him. It was a busy evening. And then Smilin' Ed was a pretty hot banjo player. He played some Bella Fleck stuff, and he played some Earl Scruggs stuff, and it was all kinds of interesting things. He had a shot at a couple Beatles tunes. So the whole evening was a lot of fun. And yeah, and Ellen Wolf says Joseph Arnold is a manouche player also. Yeah, mainly he thinks of himself as a gypsy jazz violinist or a jazz violinist, but he's also a composer. He played in original pieces last night that were all in that gypsy jazz style, or at least 2 out of the 3 were. And yes, Kenny, 40 more years to come in our dreams. So anyhow, I am on today, I am on tomorrow. Monday at 3, I will be with you. And Tuesday at 10:30 a.m., my good friends Cozy Sheridan and Charlie Koch, another of the namesakes of Charlie the dog, will be doing a... he's managed to position himself so he's right in the picture there. You can see him right behind me. And showing how excited he is about the music. And Charlie Koch and Cozy Sheridan, 10:30 a.m. on Tuesday, Eastern Time. And they did their first show back after a bunch of travel last week, and it was a joy to hear them again, and they're just wonderful people. And they may actually come through here and visit, and if they do, right around Christmas, we may do a special little concert. We'll see. I don't know if they'll have time, but we'll give it a shot. So, and then I'll be back on Wednesday, and then we'll discuss after that then. So Wednesday will be the day of Thanksgiving Eve, and I will do a show, and it'll include my Thanksgiving Eve song for sure, which I sang last night as well. And those are the announcements, okay? So somebody requested this. I don't think it was Charlie the dog, although I'm sure he's gratified that somebody thought about him. Everybody's gone away. Said they're moving to L.A. There ain't a soul I know around. Everybody's leaving town. Some caught a freight, some caught a plane. Find the sunshine, lose the rain. They say this town will waste your time. I guess they're right, 'cause it's wasted mine. Some gotta win, some gotta lose. And good time Charlie's got the blues. You know, my heart keeps telling me you ain't no kid at 33. You play around, you can lose your wife. You play too hard, you lose your life. I got my pills to ease the pain. Can't find a thing to ease the rain. I'd like to try and settle down. Everybody's leaving town. Some gotta win, some gotta lose. Good time Charlie's got the blues. I got my pills to ease the pain. Can't find a thing to ease this rain. I'd like to try and settle down, but everybody's leaving town. Some gotta win, some gotta lose. Good time Charlie's got the blues. Good Time Charlie's Got the Blues, written by Danny O'Keefe, great songwriter. And Danny's on Facebook. He's out there somewhere. He's one of my Facebook friends, although we've never met in person. And I'm a fan. So next up is another instrumental. This was requested by a couple people, or maybe requested by one person, and then further affirmed by a couple others. So Unchained Melody. That's Unchained Melody, written by Alex North. Another guitar change here. Ooh. It's hard to walk around this house without tripping on a Kong or a ball or a food toy or something. So there he is that's the classic cattle dog sleeping position, which I first saw in the movie The Road Warrior. And there he comes. Charlie displays that a lot of times. He's a good bed dog. He sleeps with me at night, and he's learned that he's not allowed to jump up on the bed first thing at night and kick all the pillows all over the place, which is what he was originally doing. Now he knows if he does that, I'll put him in a downstay on the floor until I get into the bed. And so somebody's calling. That must be Publishers Clearinghouse with my $1 million sweepstakes, but I'm going to just let it go. Who needs money? So I have one more for you today. On the road long ago, back when my ducks were all in a row, up on stage with an old friend, we played our songs and we took a break. Then I made my first mistake. My whole life been up and down since then. I was standing there with a glass of beer, taking in the atmosphere, when an old flame snuck in and stole a kiss. Now if I knew then what I know now, I probably would have known just how destiny would steal much more than this. Fate is such a funny thing. A life can turn on the beat of a butterfly's wing. Time so bitter, time so sweet. And it all began on Hessler Street. From that day my life changed. All my plans were disarranged. I was living under a spell. I'd love to blame somebody else, but I had done it to myself. In time I knew this all too well. The summer went by in a flash. My former life had turned to ash. There was no one to whom I could return. And when the whole thing fell apart, there I sat with my broken heart and one sad lesson to learn. Fate is such a funny thing. A life can turn on the beat of a butterfly's wing. Time so bitter, time so sweet. It all began on Hessler Street. Now if I could go back and take one more try at that first mistake. There's no telling where I'd be. But you roll the dice, you take your shot, you learn to live with what you've got. What could have been remains a mystery. Fate is such a funny thing. A life can turn on the beat of a butterfly's wing. Time so bitter, time so sweet. It all began on Hessler Street. Everything turned on Hessler Street. Be happy, be healthy, be brave and be calm. Be kind, it's a snap. And if you get cranky, I don't think you can see my sleeping dog there. Take a nap. So thank you so much again for joining me. Another holiday season we are into with its emotional ups and downs, but we'll all make it through if we just keep putting one foot in front of the other. I'm just checking to see if I missed any late arrivals. I don't think so. Ken Terrell is here from the UK, from Fulham's. And I think I said hello to most everybody else here. I'll just scroll to the end. And wish you all a lovely day. It's like beautiful here, but windy as can be. At least earlier, I think it may be calming down a little bit. And Jim, give my fond regards to Nelson. Nelson the dog was one of the few dogs who Suki would tolerate. He's older now, and I'm not sure he could endure Charlie, but someday we may find out. In the meantime, you guys have a great day, and I love you all. And I was telling Mike Verbeek in an email that how valuable it's been, not just to have this community, because I know you all value it, and we've kind of come together around this music, but it's really become much more than that. It's become a community of people. And I was telling Mike how gratifying it is that I've met so many of you now live and in person, and I know there's a lot who I haven't met yet, but it's really cool. It's a really cool part of my life, and I appreciate you all. Okay, so have a great day. Hopefully see you tomorrow, Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern.